on item number 16, we approve the light, where we go out that money comes from? Just to pay,
Orphan?
that's where y'all choose to. It's not in that, where we gotta pay for it.
Give me a motion. I'll make a motion, take it out of orphan.
Second.
All in favor? Got that on that.
Okay, yeah, I'll just add it to the other one.
All right, item number 17, discuss pipeline permits, Mr. Martin.
Okay. On these pipeline permits, that we agreed to, and are being signed and notarized by the pipeline companies, and this is what they're paying the, permit fee on. We have never come to this court and made another one. This is the one we are still using. This one up here in the first of it says there'll be a $5,000 penalty fee for any construction has begun prior to application approved by Fisher County Commissioners Court. Well, there's not a single one of these applications that the gas line companies have presented have been approved in Commissioners Court. Okay, and it is true, on April 13th of 20 in court, that I made the motion to speed up the process to make it easier for the pipelines. And in that motion, I'll just read it to you, it was approved unanimously. Policy and procedure on pipeline agreements as not having to be approved in Commissioner's Court. The commissioner that the county road pertains to can sign agreement along with the county judge's signature. This will speed up the process as agreements will not have to wait on Commissioner's Court meeting. This having been put to a vote has prevailed. Okay? I have 47 permits that's come through here. Not a single one of these things have been approved in Commissioner's Court or a commissioner has not signed them. Only the county judge is. So, I've been having this issue with these gas companies just cutting my roads and putting in pipelines without me even knowing it. And I brought it to this court's attention before. I'll drive down the road. I'll see that the pipeline's already been put in. I've never been notified. Okay then, let's keep it going. Says, the county commissioner of the precinct which the located road crossing is must be notified 48 hours actual notice prior to time beginning any work. So I have not been notified on a single one of these gas lines. Not 48 hours before, not 48 hours after, not at all. I'll go down there, watch a road where they dig it and put it, they're not being bored. We agreed, I believe it was Scott Fagan was still here, this court agreed that any saltwater line or gas line crossing the county road will be encased in casing and have vent pipes on it. Well, when they very first started this thing, I told them that. I said, hey, our policy is y'all have to case and put vent pipes on it. Well, there's not a single gas line out there that's been cased or got vent pipes on it. Well, it looks like some of them, you can tell the land may be 6 foot higher than the road. Well, they may have the thing 6.5 feet from where they're at, but the bottom of that bar ditch, it may not be 2 inches or 2 foot deep. So we're putting our employees' lives in danger. If they hit that gas line on the road grader, it's gonna blow up. It's not even encasing. So we're risking the lives of our employees and our equipment over this. I've brought it to our county attorney's attention before in court. I think it was on July 12th of 21, you can watch the meeting. Nothing was ever done about it. So, also, you get on down in this thing, applicant agrees to save and hold harmless Fisher County or its agents or employees for any act or anything doing with this crossing. It is further agreed, subject to order of Fisher County Court granting and approving this, that it has to be approved by Commissioner County Court. It hasn't been done, so. Anyway, here recently, I seen them crossing the road out there, so I just stopped and asked them guys, hey, where's the permit? We don't have it with us, so I pull one out, we read it. I asked them, why are y'all not contacting commissioners? Why are y'all not seeing where we need it, where it's not gonna wash out? Why are you not putting case and all this kind of things? Ask them all these questions, making them read the permit with them. I was told that as long as they pay the right person at the courthouse, they don't have to follow these rules or contact the county commissioner. So I don't know what's going on up here, but there's a whole lot of fishy business going on. And I wanna get to the bottom of it. Why is the commissioners not being notified? Why are they not being approved properly? Why are they bypassing commissioners? Somebody's saving a lot of money. I was talking to their competitor. They said probably saving hundreds of thousands of dollars, possibly millions, for them bypassing commissioners and not having to do it properly. I wanna know what's going on, Judge.
I don't know what you're talking about, Preston. They come up here, we sign the deal, money goes to the bank.
Why has the county commissioner not being notified, or why is he not signing it? That's what the motion said. To speed up the process, we'll do that contingent. This county commissioner has to sign it, or go through commissioner's court. If it's not going to commissioner's court, and the county commissioner ain't signing it, or being notified, how's that happening?
Cause y'all want the money, that's why you did speed it up. I said-
No, we sped it up to help the pipeline companies, where they wouldn't have to wait 30 days to hold them up till we had commissioner court when they're trying to get stuff done. It was to benefit them, it was to help them. It wasn't 'cause we want the money. That $2,000 ain't gonna help us one bit if we get 2 weeks earlier or 2 weeks after, cause it's gonna sit there in that account. We're not gonna spend it in 2 weeks, that has nothing to do with
They
it.
can contact y'all, y'all sign it before I sign it. I don't care who signs it, or when it's signed.
Well, we have to be notified where they can be done properly. The foreman has to be there, or county commissioner, it says right in this contract. Before it begins, or the commissioner or a rover has to be there when it begins and completes. And that has not been done, we are not notified. How can we be there if we're not even being notified?
Make a note, we don't sign anything until after they sign their part. All right, number 18. Review road crossing agreement, application, Mr. Martin.
All right, are we gonna redo this contract? Are we gonna leave it like it is? Are we gonna just start coming to commissioner's court to have these approved? Or are we gonna start letting the commissioner sign them with you and be notified? Or how are we gonna do this and make this right? And what are we gonna do about all these pipelines that were put in incorrectly? Or it says in there we can hold them liable for this, to do them, go back and redo them and make them do them correctly. That's what it says in this contract. And they signed the contract, so they should know what it says. They signed it and they had it notarized. So why do they feel like that they can just pay the right person at the courthouse and bypass all this stuff when they signed it and they read it and they know what it says?
It's your call, whatever you wanna do, if you wanna leave it, you wanna change it.
What are y'all feeling like?
What was there already?
It's sufficient, it just needs to be followed, just like a lot of things up here. It's just, the rules need to be followed.
It's the pipeline companies that's not following the rules.
It does say there, the applicant has to notify the
Permit
commissioner
holder should be-
48 hours in advance. The applicant is not, that would be the person that's filing the application.
It
They are
says
not
in there,
notified
it says in there the commissioner has to sign the permit too, and they're issuing the permits.
without
Without
commissioner.
commissioner
So the
sign.
judge's office and our county attorney, they know exactly what's going on. They know that we're not signing, they're not calling us to come sign it. They know exactly what's going on up here.
I do know on all mine, they're putting dents on the gas lines,
See, they're not in mine.
but I don't know about the water lines.
See, we didn't agree on salt water lines, so B. Scott's one said there may be gas even in those salt water lines, that's the reason they won't be in it.
There's gas in them.
Well, this one right here, well, let's see what, no, we got anything else? I have the pictures, this is on County Road 346. Me and my road foreman was taking the road engineers out here to this County Road 346. Take samples of this road I was accused of putting material on, and they were measuring it. And that's when we come across this. You can see it was freshly cut. They did not bore under it. It was cut, going into Randy Callen's field here. This is a saltwater line, it says it right here on the thing, it's JBD line. There's no vents. I got pictures of a bunch of other ones that have no casing on that our gas company has done. So they're about, and then I've asked Joy, has a road permit coming for County Road 346 yet, Joy? This list you gave me didn't have it, any emails didn't have it. Have you know of any on 346 that's been,
Off the top of my head, no. When would it have come in, do you know?
this is very recently, so it would have been like in a month or two. So you can see fresh dirt. This is 2 weeks ago or so when I took this picture.
You're on item 20.
This one here?
We're,
No,
no, we're still on.
I want the blue marker.
This one, item 20 says
This one here, one of those
346.
fast lines that they take up.
That's one.
This is road crossing permit, this is a road crossing we're still on. We ain't got to the water line yet. So, anyway, we have a violation here for sure, $5,000 penalty. There has been no permit, the road wasn't bored, it was cut. But if you wanna get right down to it, none of these have been approved legally. There's a $5,000 fee on every one of them, 47 of them I counted. So everybody, y'all wanna take action on that, but they're not following the permits, and they're putting our county hands in danger. Any other discussion on how y'all wanna take care of applications, or just leave it like it is, just make them follow the rules?
As long as they follow the rule, I think we're
I
covered.
think we're covered, just need to follow the rules, and there need to be some kind of teeth put into it. Yes or no?
They don't know, they haven't been calling me either when the guys drive up and they're crossing.
Have you read
Called
the thing?
anybody since we did that?
It says
2020.
48 hours, and had to, when they start and complete, we're gonna know exactly how deep it is. You don't, how can you look at this picture and just drive up and know how deep that is? I don't know. But if I'm there, or my road foreman there, we'll know if it's 2 foot or 10 foot or what, we'll know. And if we're doing any digging in the area, we'll have it in our mind. Hey, we better not dig too deep right there, or cut a bar ditch too deep there, cause that road, that line ain't deep enough. It's a big issue we're having, it needs to be addressed.
It's gonna keep getting worse as it comes this way.
Alright, I guess I'm done with that, if y'all, we'll just leave it as it is, if y'all are good with it. I'll go on, number 19.
Your Honor, excuse me, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, Preston, on number 18, cause you're talking about, as far as not following or whatever. Most of the contracts that we have gotten in, and I do know that there was a couple of them that I did miss back when, as far as emailing to you, after you requested a copy of it. But on this application, do we need to redo that and have a place for y'all to sign?
Yes, we have to sign it.
So we're
It
gonna
is-
need to finish it, we need to correct that contract and add that additional line. Is it all you commissioners, or is it the commissioner for that road?
No, the commissioner of the precinct, whatever precinct, no matter if it's Gordon's, Dexter's, Kevin's, whatever precinct, they have to sign off on it, cause they're responsible for their roads. So they have to have, yes, they have to be a line, I don't care if there's a line or not, if they have to sign it, they can sign without a line, but yes, they have to
Okay,
sign
I'm
it.
just asking so I know what to do and there's clarification here.
Okay, and
Instead
then
of it being up
also,
in the air,
Joy, on that, well, it was on this paper where, the same one that I just had here, that we did vote to agree to speed up the process on that same, wherever it is, I don't have it right in front of me, but it says on there was 2 permits on that same day, and they're not on this list you gave me, so I don't know what's going on, but they're permits, and they're not on the list you gave me, and they're not in this pile that you gave me. So, our records ain't jiving here.
well, you'll have to get with me and let me know which ones they are and make sure I didn't miss something.
Okay, well,
'Cause I mean, there is a bunch
somebody
of
missed
them.
something, cause there's several pipelines that's not even on the list there.
Okay, if
Okay.
you will get with me, then I will be glad to look at it and see what we've got and what we don't have.
Okay, I will, thank you, Joy, appreciate your help.
Number 19, Kristen.
Okay, discuss water lines. Okay, again, yes, this might have been last Thursday or Wednesday, or not probably Wednesdays, I put this on the agenda, I think, on Thursday, so the day before. Driving my road, just when right after I just ran into these pipeline guys that were going with my road without my knowledge. I come across this. my road cut, all dug up, big old, you can't even pass it, man, it's dug up. Nobody never called me, nothing, didn't even know nothing about it, people can't even do it. And I told them guys from day one, you cannot cut the road. Well, there's a fiber optic line and a phone line right there next to where they cut, 'cause we've seen it washed out before. Well, they didn't call 811, they weren't marked, nothing, so I don't even know if they cut the fiber optic line. Everybody in that whole area, maybe without internet or phone service now, cause they just went in without notifying nobody, trenched our road, and threw this temporary line in. And we agreed to let them run these temporary lines with no permit, so I don't have an issue with that, that's what we agreed to. But we did say, you cannot cut our roads. So me and Mr. Stewart, we went over and talked to the commissioners here a while back and got their road crossing permit. And it, basically, it's a little more direct than ours. Very first paragraph, it states, there will be no work done on the county road without contacting the commissioner first and him being there while it's done, or his road department. Then again, that first paragraph says, in no event or circumstance will permission be granted to ditch across any county road. So I think we should have that in our policy. If not, we need to add it. They should not be ditching our roads. They should, if they wanna put them temporary lines, put it on there. I asked them to put 2 or 3 loads of material on top of it or something. But what happens here, they've done this before, as soon as we have a big, they'll pull that line out and just push the dirt back in there. Had a lady going through there, had a big slow rain. When she hit that, her whole front end just fell off in that thing. It nearly knocked her whole front tires out from under the car. It just soft, you know, you got this big trench that deep and it's soft. It don't matter if they pack it a little bit in, but when it's dry, it's not gonna pack. It just caves in. Never caused her a bad accident. She'd been going faster, it probably would've, threw her through the dang windshield. So, Scurry County Commissioners, they agreed to put a policy in place that any of these temporary lines, if the commissioner requested that they have to put in a culvert, and the lines run through a culvert, instead of them coming back every time cutting the same road, they'll just, it has to be in a beneficial spot for our citizens. We don't want a culvert on top of a hill or whatever, no water's gonna run through it, but if it would benefit Fisher County and the citizens and them, if the commissioner of that precinct would agree to it, they'd put a culvert in, like say, the low spot. Then every time they do one of these big flow lines, they can just run it through the culvert. Wouldn't have to cut the road no more. It would help the oil companies and it would help the county and the citizens, cause we wouldn't have to pay to put this culvert where we need it. And then they wouldn't have to be cutting the road every time. So what do y'all think about that?
I've already been doing that with them, make them put them in where I want them and they leave them.
I think that's a good
Never have to
idea.
cut 'em again.
That's what Scurry County's doing, cause they had an accident in Scurry County, the reason they had to bring it, some lady hit one of them things or something, tore up her car and she tried to sue the county, and that's the reason they put this policy in place, but
At least they have.
do we need to have a policy, or do we just need to leave it up to each commissioner to tell them that? But I think that we need to
Put it on
have
that
it.
policy, put it on that permit that they have to contact us.
They have to contact us on even the temporary flow line, they don't have to pay for a permit, they do have to contact us. And it's up to the commissioner's discretion of that precinct if we want a culvert or not.
Yeah.
Good with that, Gordon?
I'm good with that.
Well, I'll make that motion then.
I think we have to do it on the next agenda, right?
On the wind.
Get it rolled up.
Okay, get it rolled up, then we'll do it, but we'll make the motion to have this drawn up then. This is what we're agreeing to, and have it drawn up and revisit it then. The second then.
All in favor?
Okay, I write this down as there's a motion to, a contract for on temporary.
Temporary water lines for oil company or whatever,
Okay,
that they have to contact the commissioner of that precinct,
okay,
and it's up to his discretion where and if he wants a culvert put in for these temporary lines.
okay. Okay,
And we need to put our name and phone number, what precinct.
Yes, we do, that's what Scurry County did on the front of this thing, it has all 4 commissioners and their phone number where they can contact them right there. So that's a good idea, Gordon.
All right, item number 20, last one.
think I've already touched on that subject, but County Road 346, no permit. They didn't bore in the road, they just cut the road, going in Randy Collins field here. What depth it is, I couldn't tell you, I couldn't even tell you what company it is, cause I wasn't notified. I can find out, I can follow that thing all the way to an oil well somewhere or something, and look it up on Railroad Commission, I can find it out, and I will. I just bring it to the court's attention that there is some issues going on, and they need to be addressed.
You need to pay the penalty on it.
Really, a whole bunch of them do, if you wanna get right down to it, but none of them's been done legally, and they knew these weren't done legally, cause they weren't notifying the commissioner. We weren't, a road foreman wasn't there and they did them, they weren't done where they wanted them, or how we done them. It didn't come through commissioner's court, commissioner didn't sign them. They signed these and notarized them, they read them, they know exactly what to say, cause they do all the rest of the stuff on the back of it, they got the schematics and all that, and they're not following their end of the bargain here, or the contract.
Item 20, 21, and 23, I've got it in the minutes.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and discuss it.
No, that was in closed session.
Well, that was the breach of contract, we still got 22 and 23.
And I asked you in closed session, does that cover 22?
No, it does, that close the breach of contract, we have not discussed 22 and
I'm fine,
23.
get after it, go to 22.
All right, discuss Baywater Manus Road Use Agreement. Right here in this road use agreement for Baywall, it says representations and warranty. At completion and construction of the project, the Mattis shall implement any improvements necessary to return any damaged roads to substantially the same or better condition than such roads were prior to construction of the project in a time period agreed to with the county road foreman. Further, Mattis agrees that following the completion of initial improvements contemplated above following construction of the project and during commercial operation of the project, additional improvements shall occur within 1 week following receipt of written notice by county that such repairs are required as a consequence of damage solely caused by Amadeus County. County further agrees that it will inspect and approve any improvements contemplated herein within 2 weeks of receiving notice. Improvements, road use or facilities by Amadeus cause any drainage issues or require culvert extensions, Amadeus shall be responsible for resolving these issues and making such extensions so as to maintain the drainage of stormwater control in a substantially similar or better way than before the issue occurred. Indemnification. Amadeus acknowledges that it is solely responsible for any and all improvements, road use and facilities contemplated under this agreement as a result of this project. Amadeus agrees and acknowledges that it shall identify, defend, and hold harmless county from and against any and all claims, suits, actions, judgments, demands, losses, costs, expenses, damages, and liability caused by, resulting from, or arising out of the acts, errors, or omissions of Amadeus, its officers, employees, agents, representatives, suppliers, or subcontractors with regard to the project other than on account of willful misconduct of the county. They're also supposed to have $2 million liability insurance for road use, matters involving pertaining or relating to improvements, road use, and facilities, as well as general liability and property loss claims affected, interfered, or otherwise result in any claim. Amadeus will name Fisher County as an additional insurer on a policy and shall provide Fisher County with proof of insurance and a rider naming Fisher County as additional insurer prior to commitment and construction on an annual basis thereafter. Okay, I have this thing signed right here by Daniel Duke on October 15th of 2019. All right then, I brought this to the Commissioner's Court several times. I've discussed this with Baywall for over a year. I have the text messages, emails, voicemails, the issues with this road, back and forth, them admitting to the issues, offering material. I also sent the email that Jay Strickland sent me offering us 150 loads of gravel. I forwarded it to Ken Holt, Michael Hall, Kevin Stewart, Gordon Pippin, Dexter Elross. Everybody knew about this. Ain't nobody hiding nothing. Okay, so I went on a year or more fighting with them, or discussing it, I don't guess, about fixing this road that they damaged, County Road 346. I brought it to Mr. Hall's attention in court, it's on video. I asked him, well, I ain't got the dates, we can just put the dates out there, but I asked him, hey, on one occasion, February 8th, 21, I asked Hall in court about the road use agreement. Hall said they didn't sign the road use agreement. Well, how did they sign the contract part of it, not all of it? He said in court said we did not have a road use agreement when he mailed us one and we voted on one in this court.
And he signed it.
They didn't sign it. It was signed by Ken Holt and Michael Hall, but then he says we don't have one. Okay, so again, I bring it up again in court, July 12th, 21. We discussed County Road 346. I asked Michael Hall, have you talked to Baywall about the issue and damage on County Road 346 and the gravel that they are offering to give us? But my position was, it was their responsibility to apply the material and haul it, not mine, because they damaged it. He was supposedly gonna contact them. He said, he did. I come back and asked him another time, did you ask him in court? He said, you know I did, Preston. Well, I called Baywall. They said they never heard from him. So I asked him a while ago, who the name was. He would not give me the name of the person he allegedly talked to. All right then. And while all this was going on, Hall and Malden was threatening me about a CDL driver that actually did have a CDL license. He had already passed the test, but it was during COVID, so he couldn't take the driving part. They kept putting him off. So they threatened me not to let him drive, so I didn't have a CDL driver. When two other commissioners had hands that didn't even have a license at all, one of them for a year. But there's nothing said about that. That's beside the point. It's just some more of the same old stuff goes on up here. But, so when I finally did get hired again, well, I got two hired hands. The first week they started, we decided we're gonna go out there and we're gonna fix this road, County Road 346, that was damaged by Baywalk, because I couldn't get no help from my county attorney to help to make us hold up this road agreement use that we had with them, which he claimed we didn't have, but Joy just sent it to me last week. He said they didn't sign it, but they did sign it. We have it right here. So I go out there, well, let's just go back up a little bit here. I got a call. The road was washed out here on 346. So they asked me to come meet them. So I go out there and meet them. I meet with a representative from Hawks Double Mountain Ranch and the on-site team from Baywall. And they're wanting to put a culvert in this road where it washed out, because the road from Baywall is on a hill, and all their water from the site and this road that they put in ran all down it and washed out my county road. Well, citizens, I've had many calls from citizens saying they tearing up the bottom of their car. Hawks Ranch said it's tore up the cattle trailer. Even Kenny Maxwell called me, just representing Hawks Ranch, complaining about this road that was damaged by Baywall. So when we're out there discussing, they're asking me if they can put this culvert, this on-site team from Baywall, asked me if they can put this culvert in the county road, want my blessing and permission. So I do, I said, well, I did say I'd rather have a low water crossing. But they said, and Hawks start, dropping them out about that road, and they tore up again, what are they gonna do about it? Well, they said, we thought that you already had agreement, we were gonna give you some material to fix that road. I said, yeah, that's true, but I feel like that's y'all's responsibility to fix it, not mine, cause y'all damaged the road. Well, they said, we got a couple of piles of material there. One of them was good, number 2 flex material. The other pile was some reclaim that's full of dirt. It looked brown. It had some material with it. They said, we'll give you this one pile here. Do not touch this other pile if you will apply it to this county road. You don't not take it nowhere else but this county road. We'll donate that to the county. I said, I don't feel like this is my responsibility, but just to resolve this, to help Baywall and to help the citizens of Fisher County, I'll agree to it. But at the time, I didn't have a CDL driver, so I wouldn't start on it. So when I did finally hire 2 hands, the first week on the job, I said, we're gonna get this road fixed. So I had a bunch of material stockpiled on my yard that I got from Snyder, from Beck, Weldon Beck is his name. So these washouts, I said, well, we ain't gonna have enough material to do this road anyway. We're gonna have to build it up and fill in these washouts with dirt. So I had a bunch of dirt piled up on my county yard too, on precinct 3 Barnes yard or whatever, Fisher County's yard. Well, so we haul all this dirt out there to County Road 3, so we can build it up, fill in the washouts where we could use less material. Then I haul this material from Beck Pit that I had stockpiled on my yard to put on this road 346. So I'm using material that I had to pay for out of my budget to fix this road. And that did one portion of it. Well, then after we completed that, we went over there, my hands, I wasn't even out there when this took place. I don't even know if I was in the county when it took place, but I did send my hands out there to fix it. So they went up here to Baywall's laydown yard and met with the guys. They were still all out there working, the on-site team was there. And they showed my hands which one of the piles that they wanted them to haul out of. They said, yes, that's correct. This is the pile you haul out of it, but we want it all to go on this portion of the road right here. So that's what my hands did, exactly what they told them, and they were there working, and then my hands did it. They weren't sitting there watching them do it. So they did. Randy Cow's name was never mentioned to me in this whole year of conversation, text, emails, phone calls, meeting them personally out there. They never mentioned Randy Cow's name to me one single time. Never heard Randy Cow's name. So we did. I went out there and did my job. The best of my ability under the circumstances we had. County attorney not helping us, not doing his job, incompetence. Saying we don't have a road use agreement, when we did, right here, we had it, said we didn't, said it wasn't signed, but we had one, all they had to do was call it, said right here. Notify them, within 2 weeks they will do it, and I had emails where they agreed that there were issues, that the road was damaged, that they were gonna fix it. That's all it would have took, they were notified, but they didn't fix it. So, I thought everything was good. Never heard another word. Sitting in my house, taking me a little lunch break, thought everything was lovely. Tanner comes knocking on the door, 3 deputies picked up, throws me in jail. I go to jail, indicted on stealing $30,000 to $150,000 worth of material for doing my job. Going on a personal man's property, and jail says later applied it to a road. It was no later, wasn't on private property. Picture up right here, Baywall's yard, laydown yard, they had leased from Randy Cowan, which his name was never mentioned to me. Still shows the piles of material right here. This all was a scam, a lie. I was doing my job. I put it on a county road. Not one bit of that material left that county road. My hands were, I had 6 witnesses, Hawks Ranch, my hands. This was their first week on the job. 2 hands I've never met before in my life. They owe me nothing. All I ever had to ask them. They're not gonna lie for me. They're not gonna go to prison for me. Now, this whole time, not a single person ever interviewed me or asked me where my hands, what was going on. Then I even get a civil suit, get sued by the county to remove me from office, by the county taxpayers' funds, for making false invoice for materials. Well, that material, I'm accused of making false invoice, went to this county road that Paywall would not fix and our county attorney would not back me up on. You know, and I wish Becky was here, so I'd like to ask her how that was supposed to work.
I don't wanna answer too much, you could answer better than me, but I do know any donations to the county need to be receipted. You need to have a receipt of any donations that the county receives, and that would be considered.
Okay, well, let's talk about that too then.
Where are we going with this?
And we're talking about County Road 346. Okay, this other material that I'm getting accused of, that was stolen. Well, Nolan County Commissioner Henry Ortega calls us up at the same time, exactly the same time we're doing this. Says, hey, there's a wind turbine yard in Mary Neal. They're donating the material to us, we need to get it off of there. Nolan County Commissioners are hauling it, if Fisher County Commissioners want to, they can come help us. So that was donated to us. So Commissioner Stewart, Dexter, I don't know, were you hauling out there too, to Mary Neal, Gordon?
But he did call me.
I know the other commissioners from Fisher County was hauling from Mary Neal, and the commissioner from Nolan County was, all of us was. We were hauling this material from Mary Neal. Similar material as this, and it was applied to roads in that area, which I'm being charged for that, or was being charged for that material too, that was donated from Mary Neal that I put out there. You know, and the other commissioners right involved in it. Well, these false invoices, I never even talked to Coker. Kevin turned them in for me. This false invoice I was supposed to have it back. Dexter's the one that turned it in for me. All these places, Kevin was hauling the same time I was sharing a loader. Dexter was hauling the same place I was sharing a loader. Turning in invoices exactly the same time I did. I'm the only one being charged. Cause there was no theft. For that to work, let's say the Cokers, Terry and Todd would have had to be in it. County sends them the check. They would have had to split it between them, cash it, pay taxes to the IRS, then give me money back. How's that gonna work when I never did even turn in invoices? Everybody would have been involved in it, all the commissioners, all these people.
Are you still talking about damages?
Yes, we're talking about these damages. County Road 346. So, to get to it, we spent a lot of money on that. Baywall gave us the material. After I was arrested, we had several citizens come and spoke out to me. They said, Preston, well, let's just get your book. Before I even put that material out there, I went out there and I seen trucks leaving there loaded. So I turned around and I followed them. Well, guess what? I followed them to a prominent businessman's ranch and they're unloading it. Well, after I was arrested, several other people come forward and said, Preston, we got some of that material from out there. Somebody hauled it to us and we paid them cash for the material. It wasn't precinct 3 hands, it wasn't precinct 3 equipment. So people there may have been some material taken from there, but it wasn't precinct 3. It was somebody hauling it and getting paid cash, and we know who that subject is. But he's still running at large. While I'm being accused for fixing this road that if our county attorney was doing his job, I wouldn't even have him fixing it.
Let's get back to the damages on County Road 346. Any more discussion on that?
Yes, we need to do something about this. I'm still getting complaints, even after doing all this work from the wind, actually it's from the substation right there. They called me 2 weeks ago saying they were needing, the roads getting damaged again from heavy truck traffic, needing us to do something about it. But I still feel like this is Baywall's issue. Somebody should have spoke up on all this. I should have never been charged for it, but this all falls back on our county attorney's incompetence and lies. And I don't know how y'all wanna handle this.
So, discussion on County Road 346?
would like to say that, you know, I could have asphalted that whole road from the end of that pavement all the way to Hawks Ranch for what this has cost my family and I, so. Yeah, I don't think it's right what's going on up here, and I think it was intentionally done. So, I think it was a whole scam to remove me from office, so. I yield my time, I yield the floor.